Anakin and Kit's blades would collide ferociously, a blur of green and blue clashing together through the volcanic haze of Mustafar. Fisto and Skywalker would flip and spin around one another, dueling at a speed that was imperceptible to the naked eye. Their blades would dance around, flicking together and apart repeatedly before... Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the galaxy. I am Zach, and welcome to ADHD. What if Obi-Wan Kenobi died during the Clone Wars? Well, in Legends, this almost happened. During the Battle of Jabim, Obi-Wan was lost in the fighting and presumed dead by the Republic. A foolish assumption to make when regarding the Jesus-like Jedi Master.
You fool!
Thank you, Grievous. As Anakin was not yet a Jedi Knight as of this time, his training was taken over by Ki-Adi-Mundi for a brief period of time before Obi-Wan was discovered to have survived. Remember, all of this took place in Legends, but what if this had actually happened? How much would Obi-Wan's death change the story of Star Wars? Well, let's find out, shall we? In canon, I believe Anakin was knighted much sooner than in Legends, due to the need for Jedi generals. Plus, he was already one of the most powerful Jedi in the entire order. So, in the event that Obi-Wan was killed early on in the Clone Wars, I believe that Anakin would likely have either already been a Jedi Knight, or that the Council would elevate him to one following Kenobi's death. Much of the events of the Clone Wars would remain the same, although I would expect the Republic to lose a few more battles here or there due to the loss of Kenobi's tactical prowess. However, make no mistake, the effect of his death on Anakin would be severe. Obi-Wan was the only Jedi in the Order that Anakin felt truly comfortable with. He was the only Jedi that Anakin ever really opened himself up to. As he said in Attack of the Clones,
"You're the closest thing I have to a father."
It is for this reason that I think that Obi-Wan's death would accelerate Anakin's fall to the dark side immensely. Obi-Wan would not be there to explain things to Anakin and to comfort him. Anakin's distrust in the Council would only swell with every passing day. Anakin would still be assigned Ahsoka as a Padawan, and I believe that this would be both good and bad for him. It would be good because it would give him someone to form a close connection with, much like he did with her in the show, though he would depend on Ahsoka much, much more in the absence of Obi-Wan, and it would absolutely crush him when she decides to leave the Order. In fact, this would be the icing on his welcome to the dark side cake. The events of Revenge of the Sith is where this really gets interesting. Anakin and Kit Fisto would board the Invisible Hand and attempt to rescue Chancellor Palpatine. The events would play out similarly to how they did in the film, with Dooku dying at Anakin's hand and the pair of Jedi successfully rescuing the Chancellor. Grievous would flee to Utapau, and the Jedi Council would send Kit Fisto to hunt him down. Besides Yoda or Windu, I think Kit Fisto would be the best choice for defeating Grievous, namely because he basically already did it. Fisto dueled Grievous early on in the Clone Wars, and was winning handily before the Magna Guards intervened on Grievous's behalf. While Fisto dealt with Grievous, Palpatine would finalize his plans with Anakin, revealing his true identity to the young Jedi Knight. Anakin would go straight to Windu, just like in the film, and warn him. Windu would bring Agent Kolar, Sassy Tin, but replacing Kit Fisto would be Shaak Ti. This would largely be insignificant, as Palpatine would wipe the floor with Windu's backup dancers, and things would play out the same as in the film. Anakin would arrive, disarm Windu a little too literally, and then Palpatine would finish the job. Order 66 would be carried out, and Anakin would lead the assault on the temple. On Utapau, I believe it would take Fisto a little longer to kill Grievous than it did for Kenobi, so I think the two would still be locked in combat when Order 66 came through. Grievous would do what he does best and flee during the confusion, and Fisto too would manage to slip away. Fisto would travel to meet with Bail Organa and Yoda, and the two Jedi would decide to sneak into the Jedi Temple in order to figure out what had happened. Realizing that there were now two Sith to deal with, Yoda would suggest to Kit that he visit Padme. Whereas I believe Obi-Wan concretely knew about Anakin and Padme, Yoda simply likely suspected that there was at least something going on between the two, so he would send Kit Fisto to inquire about Anakin's whereabouts. Padme would outright refuse to tell him anything, so much like Kenobi, he would slip onto her ship unnoticed. Once on Mustafar, he would confront Anakin. Now, Kit Fisto was one of the best duelists in the Order, highly skilled with both his lightsaber and the Force. He would be no pushover, but this was Anakin Skywalker, the chosen one, the being with the highest potential with the Force. Keep in mind that Anakin was blinded by arrogance and rage when he was dueling Kenobi. Keep in mind that Obi-Wan knew Anakin's fighting style and tendencies, inside and out. It was a perfect storm that allowed Kenobi to defeat Skywalker on Mustafar. For Kit, however, there would be no perfect storm. Anakin and Kit's blades would collide ferociously, a blur of green and blue clashing together through the volcanic haze of Mustafar. Fisto and Skywalker would flip and spin around one another, dueling at a speed that was imperceptible to the naked eye. Their blades would dance around, flicking together and apart repeatedly before the green blade would suddenly vanish. Anakin would stand over Kit Fisto's body before kicking it down carelessly into the lava. Anakin would go back to Padme's ship, collecting her before returning to Coruscant. I think it is evident now just how important Obi-Wan was, and things only get worse from here. Yoda, having failed to kill the Emperor, would go into hiding on Dagobah as the only living Jedi Council member. Padme would give birth to Luke and Leia, who would be destined to be trained as Sith by their father, Darth Vader. Padme would not die of sadness, but would live a miserable life as a glorified hostage until one day Palpatine would kill her in order to prevent her from ever luring Vader back to the light. Darth Vader would reach his full potential, as here he was not badly mutilated by Kenobi and forced to wear his iconic suit. He would be able to overthrow Palpatine and become the new Emperor with his children as his apprentices. The remaining Jedi that survived Order 66 would be hunted down by the Inquisitors, as well as Luke and Leia. Ahsoka would be killed on Malachor by Vader, not able to contend with such power. Ezra and Kanan would also fall to Vader. General Grievous, having survived Utapau, would become the leader of a rebel cell and would operate much like Saw Gerrera, an extremist who constantly took things too far. Vader would dispatch his children to deal with the old cyborg, and they would do just that. Yoda would never be found, though. He'd likely die of old age alone on Dagobah, with the knowledge that the Jedi Order died with him, just as Palpatine dreamed it would. So that is what I believe would have happened had Obi-Wan died during the Clone Wars. If you ever doubted Obi-Wan's importance to Star Wars, and I don't know why you would, then there you go. He's pretty freaking important, because that was depressing as hell. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me, or do you think it would have gone a different way? Remember to like and subscribe. New videos every Wednesday, as well as Mandalorian episode breakdowns each week. Anyway, I'm Zach, and I'll see you in the future.